The Independent Election Monitoring Group, in collaboration with Center for International and Strategy, has disclosed that the 2023 off-cycle governorship election held in Kogi State was credible and transparent, comments INEC and security forces. Speaking during a press briefing held in Abuja, the leader of the Independent Election Monitoring Group, Princess Ajibola, said that the election witnessed larger turnout of voters. However, she advises Nigerian youth to distance self from election violence.
The November gubernatorial elections in Kogi State was generally peaceful, with pockets of violence here and there, which our security personnel were able to bring under control, save for the loss of the couple's life and 2 other people. In areas where violence was experienced, the security forces brought it under control. The Independent Electoral Commission and the security forces must be commended for their zeal and the desire to conduct a peaceful and credible election. And it is on record, according to some statistics, that Kogi State recorded the lowest case of electoral violence in the off-cycle election among 3 states where election was conducted. In Cotton Cafe local government area, ADC polled 133,000 votes, APC 14,769, PDP 2,974, SDP 8,441. The security situation in the local government was generally peaceful. A good number of security personnel were deployed to the local government to forestall breakdown of law and order. And the general conduct of the electorates, voters conducted themselves well. They came early and waited. In few places, INEC officials did not come on time, but the voters conducted themselves very peacefully. They were very patient. They waited for the INEC officials to turn up, and with materials. The queues were orderly, and voters voted without intimidation. They voted in favor of the APC candidate in the person of Alhaji Usman Ododo. This did not come as a surprise, as voters voted massively for him. In conclusion, there were allegations of electoral malpractices in the local government. It was alleged that result sheets were pre-filled before the election day. The incident was thoroughly investigated by INEC, and generally the elections were peaceful in Cotton Cafe local government area of Kogi State. In Lokoja local government area, ADC polled 758 votes, APC 19,105, PDP 4,028, and SDP 10,380. A good number of security operatives were deployed to Lokoja, being the capital of the state. But despite that number of security personnel deployed to Lokoja, there was electoral violence. Political thugs made attempts to scuttle the process. 2 persons were killed by stray bullets at the Adankolo polling units in Lokoja. And this happened when some hoodlums tried to snatch ballot boxes at the polling unit. Now, this really infuriated the youths who embarked on a massive protest. Massive protest. 2 persons were dead, and the youths could not take it. They couldn't understand it. They couldn't handle it, and they just went wild. In trying to express their displeasure at what had happened, they set the house of the APC chieftain ablaze. However, the security personnel were able to bring the situation under control. The general conduct of the electorates was generally okay. They came out in their numbers to exercise their franchise. Unfortunately, there were cases of electoral violence which the security forces brought under control. There were pockets of violence, again, here and there. Again, the security personnel were up and about in trying to bring the situation under control. In conclusion, the election in Lokoja witnessed incidents of electoral violence in some of the polling units, which the security forces were able to bring to a halt, and voters came out massively to vote for their choice. Votes. The security situation in Ida local government area was generally peaceful. The security forces ensured that voters voted peacefully without fear nor intimidation. Again, that was the stronghold of the SDP candidate. The candidate of the SDP hails from Ida, and it was not a surprise that voters overwhelmingly voted for him. Voters conducted themselves very peacefully, except for local government chairman, who was unruly, but the security operatives had him arrested. In conclusion, the general atmosphere in Ida was peaceful. There was no case of voters' apathy and intimidation, except for reported cases of voters' inducement. Inducement means take money and vote for us. Few. Ijumu local government area, ADC, had 1,898 votes. APC had 10,524 votes. PDP had 6,909, and SDP polled 356 votes. The security situation in the Ijumu local government area was dire. Senator Dine Melayo hails from the local government. There was outbreak of violence in Ayetoro ward, which made it difficult for voters to cast their votes. And as a result of this, there was low turnout of voters, and the security operatives did their best in bringing the situation under control. Now, the general conduct of the electorate, there was a low turnout of voters, and as a result of electoral violence. Generally, those who turned out, despite the threat to life, conducted themselves very peacefully. In conclusion, the election in the Ijumu local government witnessed cases of electoral violence. In spite of that, security operatives did their best to ensuring that voters cast their votes. Thuggery plays a vital role on election days. And I think that, it's a collective, it should be our collective business to make these children or the youth to know that they don't have to engage. Because more often than not, when they do engage in thuggery and election violence, some of them end up dead, like we just told you. And we saw that, and it played out in the 3 states. Okay? So I think that there should be a mechanism to be able to massively begin to engage our youth. You don't have to die for anyone to come as your governor, as your honorable member, or as your senator, or as your president. That life is gone, and it's gone forever, and there's nothing that can be done. Those are the ones we witnessed, or we saw, or we had information about. What about the several more that we're not aware of? And this is ongoing from election circle to election circle. So our collective observation, and we're trying to say that there's so much that can be done to check the menace of election violence, particularly when people lose their lives, not just people, youths of this country.
Atonda Babatunde, GTV Africa.